goes a little something like.
I'll keep love you warm all summer, and after fall, I'll keep you warm all summer, and
Baby Aaliyah. Yeah, I don't believe the fakeness.
You're so sweet.
The fakeness of Aaliyah.
Oh, but you're naked. You can't record with us, and you got this stuff all over you.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right, let's do it. You ready? You ready? Okay, here we go. Hey guys, and welcome to this special episode of Mercades Reading. Today, we are going to be reading the book titled The Hen That Laid Chocolate Eggs. Today, we have a special guest, Baby Aaliyah. Everybody say hello to Baby Aaliyah. She's going to help us read this book today. All right, here we go. You ready, Aaliyah? You ready? All right, let's do it, Baby Aaliyah. The Hen That Laid Chocolate Eggs. Written by me. Illustrated by Samir Kassar. Moo moo, cried the cows at the break of dawn on an early Sunday morning. Hearing the alarm clock blaring woke us all up at 4:45 a.m. It was the first day of the month, which meant it was fielding day. Not only did we have to get all the produce ready to sell for this month, but they also had to make sure the animals were cleaned, fed, and ready for another month of produce.
okay.
Okay. Bye, Baby Aaliyah. Coming out on the porch, Grandpa Nathan yelled, "All right, everyone, come on inside for breakfast." All raced into the porch. My cousins, brothers, and sisters ran trying to see who would make it first. Always in last place because he was the smallest, Bean came trotting along, jumping around, taking off his boots as he ran into the big house. Stopping in the wet room, he made sure to put his boots on the wet shoes rack with the others. His dark green grass-stained overalls were next, as he took them off quickly, throwing them into the outdoors clothes basket. Placing on his house clothes and making sure that he washed his hands, he headed inside for breakfast. His grandma cat really hated when they tracked things in the house, so he always made sure he did a good job. I know that's right, Grandma Cat. Searching to find a plate on the kitchen counter, he sat down at the table with the rest of his family, who spent their summers at their grandparents' farm too. With 5 other siblings and 5 older cousins, Bean and his cousin Nadea were the youngest one out of everyone. Grabbing at the spoon, trying to get some of Grandma's famous cheese grits, one of his older cousins slapped his hand away and said, "What you doing, little fish? You need to leave that for us big fish." Folding up his arms and balling up his fists, Bean looked over at his older cousin Junior, ready to scream. He could not believe it. Everyone else had a lot of Grandma's cheese grits, so why couldn't he? Walking into the dining room from the kitchen, Grandma Cat said, "All righty, y'all make sure every one of you gets full, and when you get finished with your food, make sure each of you clean up after yourselves. There ain't no maids in this house, and everyone is responsible for their own mess." I know that's right. My grandma used to say that too. "Yes, Grandma Cat," said all the kids in unison as they all began to clean up the table after they were all finished with their individual breakfasts. Later on that day, while all the older kids were skinning corn, fishing, and preparing for supper by the lake, Bean and Nadia were out on another one of their mysterious adventures. Since they were the youngest of the group, the two had always been the closest. They spent every summer together while they were on their grandparents' farm. From riding bikes and swimming in the lake to hunting for bugs, they did it all together. Walking along the hen house on the opposite side of the farm, they noticed all the hens in their cages. Agreeing to jump the fence so they could investigate, they both began walking quickly towards the hen houses. Reaching the hen houses, they both began feeling around inside them to see if they could feel any eggs. "Oh, Nadia, I think I feel something," exclaimed Bean as he grabbed the egg from the very back of the hen house. "Wow, I have never touched an egg that came from a real hen before." "What do you mean a real egg?" asked Nadia as she reached inside one of the other hen houses and didn't feel a thing. "We eat them all the time." Taking her hand from out of the hen house, she made her way over to see the one egg that Bean had found. "Oh, Bean, I dare you to lick that egg in your hand," said Nadia as she laughed loudly. "You mean lick the egg from the hen's butt? No way! That's disgusting," said Bean, with an unpleasant feeling settling in his stomach. Yeah, that's disgusting, y'all. I wouldn't want to do that either. Feeling unsatisfied and bored after waiting for Bean to complete the challenge, Nadia hatched what she thought was a great idea. "I got it! Why don't we take the eggs that we found and put them in the house for Grandma Cat and Grandpa Nate to cook for breakfast? That way, we won't have to wait to get our food like everyone else tomorrow. We can just eat." Boy, that sounds like a great idea. Walking towards the brown fence so they could sit down, he thought about what Nadia had suggested. Pondering on her answer, he decided to say, "Yes, but we have to find something to put all the eggs into," said Bean. I wonder what they're gonna find. Searching around the chicken coops, they looked for something to put the eggs into. While looking around the side of the tractor, she noticed two different baskets. One little green fish netted looking basket hanging on the back of one of the tires, and another brown one that was wet, made out of twig pieces, like the ones they used to pick apples for their lunches every day. Tearing off the bad twigs, she cleaned off both baskets as best as she could before running and calling out to Bean, saying she had found something that they could both use. "Be careful," said Nadia, as they both began placing their hands into the hen coop where they had seen the eggs. Looking over the eggs as they filled their basket, they noticed that the eggs from this one particular chicken coop looked a little weirder than the rest of the eggs. With a dark brown tone of color on the egg, it was more oval shaped than all the rest in the basket. "I wonder if they are weird looking because of them being brand new?" questioned Nadia. I wonder. That's actually not a bad question. Tilting his basket, he noticed that some of the eggs had begun melting right in front of his eyes. Bean could not believe what he was seeing. Calling over to Nadia, who was checking out the rest of the hen coops, Bean yelled, "Nadia, come here quick! I think something's happening to the eggs!" Sprinting towards him full speed, they both watched as the dark brown oval-shaped eggs turned into what looked to be like chocolate mush. With confused looks on both of their faces, Bean reached his hand inside the basket, wanting to see what the mush felt like. Twirling his finger around inside the basket, Nadia interrupted his thoughts by saying, "It kind of smells like chocolate." "But that's impossible. I mean, I never knew chocolate came from eggs. At school, They taught us it came from cocoa beans like you, she said as she laughed while giving Bean a slight push. Nudging her back, they both jumped when they heard the dinner bell. Ring, ring, ring. Time for dinner, shouted Grandpa Nathan as he stood on the porch. Racing back towards the big house, they both knew they needed to reach the house first, so they could get a good amount of food on their plates before everyone else. Reaching the front steps on the big house, Bean yelled, "First place!" as Nadea came in second. I used to always get first place. Running up the steps right behind them came Derek and Corey. "Third, fourth," shouted the boys, already sitting at the table with their nice big plates of food. Nadea and Bean began eating as fast as they could, hoping to get in the showers first. After taking showers, Bean and Nadea played until it was bedtime, agreeing that they both would be the first ones awake the next morning. It's actually pretty smart. Waking up bright and early the next morning, Bean and Nadea met in the kitchen where Grandma Cat was just beginning to cook breakfast. Staring at each other, they both watched her quietly as she went through the fridge and grabbed their twig baskets with the eggs inside. Jumping at the sight, Nadea yelled, "Wait, Grandma Cat!" causing her to drop one of the white-colored eggs out of the two baskets. Looking in astonishment at each other with their mouths hung low towards the ground, both of the kids were confused as to how the chocolate eggs weren't chocolate anymore. "Why did you just scream like that?" replied Grandma Cat. "You scared me almost half to death. Now you both know how rude it is to just sneak up on people while they doing something." Still looking in disbelief, the two children could not understand what happened to the chocolate eggs that they had found yesterday. Snapping them both out of their dazes, Grandma Cat said, "I know you both can hear me. You're not like your Uncle Nathan yet." "So someone please answer me when I speak to you." Shaking his head out of the trance, Bean replied, "I'm sorry, Grandma Cat. I wasn't expecting you to cook eggs again this morning. Did you wake the older kids up earlier to go pick them out for you while you were sleeping?" Grabbing a large wisp for the batter, Grandma Cat replied, "No, I'm not sure who picked them out, but everyone else is asleep right now, and you two are up very early. How about I make you both some special pancakes? I've got plenty of eggs for the other kids, but I found some dark brown ones hidden in the back of the fridge this morning. Why don't I make them for you? But you gotta promise not to tell the other kids." Feeling the excitement shine through both the kids' bodies, she knew the eggs had belonged to them. "Well, I guess the secret is out," Grandma Cat thought to herself. "Now I gotta have Uncle Nathan move my special hen again. Can't have them eating all my chocolate eggs." As they sat back and watched Grandma Cat cook the chocolate pancakes, both the children sat at the table with smiles large and wide, not once realizing that Grandma Cat knew all about the hen that laid chocolate eggs. Wow, y'all. This book was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for joining us with this special Easter episode of Mercades Reading. Bye for now. Do, 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 do.